want to tell you, my dear students, before going into managerial economics, first you all should study about, you all should understand what is economics first. Without understanding the economics, you cannot go into managerial economics. So why I'm trying to explain about economics is managerial economics is a part of economics. So there are different types of economics. So there is business economics, there is managerial economics, there is economics. So before going into the subject, you all should understand the basics first. First, if you understand the basics, then you all can understand the advanced topics which we are going to study in managerial economics. So today we are going to study about introduction to economics. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so these are the topics which we are going to discuss today. We are going to discuss about introduction to economics. So we should try to understand what is economics, from where this economics has come into, and we are going to study about the definitions of economics. We are going to study about the scope of economics and the different branches of economics. So this is the topics which we are going to discuss, and the learning outcome of today's class would be again the brief understanding about the economics. So before going into the different types or different branches, before going into the scope of economics, first we all should study and understand what is economics. Okay, so here, can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
1 second, give me a second. Activity. So whenever we speak about multidisciplinary activity, economics is indulged in everything. So as a human beings, we want to satisfy our wants, our needs. So generally, there are three things in economics which we speak. It is also related into marketing. So generally, as a human being, we want to satisfy our needs. Can anyone tell me what are needs? Yes, these are the basic needs which every human being wants to satisfy. That is nothing but food, shelter, and clothing. So that is basic human needs. And what are wants? Does anyone know what are wants? So generally we speak about wants, right? Needs and wants. So what are wants? Any idea? Fine. So wants are nothing but which are backed up with a specific need. Which are backed up with a specific need. Now I want to travel to my office, or I want to travel to my college. So what is the basic thing what I am to do? What I am supposed to do is I should think about transportation. So I can go by bus, I can travel by cycle, I can even walk, I can even catch some auto or take cab and reach my college or reach my office. So this is the basic thing what I am supposed to do. But when I speak about want, I want to reach my office only on Royal Enfield. So my basic need is transportation, and my want is nothing but which is backed up with a specific need. Yes, I should go to office, that is my basic need, which is backed up, and I want to travel to my office or to college only on Royal Enfield. That is my want. And there is another concept called desire. So I want to go to my college or to my office in BMW car. So this is my desire. So there is a difference between need, want, and desire. So generally, economics speaks about satisfying your needs and wants. So we call them as economic activities. Y'all are there with me? Y'all are understanding, my dear students?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it was again that during 18th century, Adam Smith is called as the father of economics. So you all should remember who is the father of economics? Mr. Adam Smith is the father of economics. He defined economics as the study of nature and uses of national wealth. So economics speaks and deals with national wealth and also individual wealth. So here the first sentence speaks about individual and national level. National level is nothing but our country's income, and individual level is nothing. Individual income is nothing but the individual income of all the customers of the country or all the citizens of the country. So that is what we call it as about per capita income and national income. So Mr. Adam Smith explains about the nature and uses of national wealth. For example, you all are studying and you all are working. So definitely you might be earning some XYZ amount as a monthly salary, right? So let's take as 20 to 30,000 rupees as an example. So 30,000 rupees is your monthly income, and you want to distribute or you want to allocate your funds, what you have earned, to different needs and wants. You want to satisfy all your needs and wants. For example, if you're staying in a rented house, you need to pay 10,000 rupees rent. And for example, if you're riding a vehicle or if you have a car, you will again keep aside 10 to 15,000 rupees or 5 to 10,000 rupees for your petrol and 5 to 10,000 rupees for your household things. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to manage your income. So economics will help you to study about the income and manage your income. So it is nothing but allocation of your funds and managing them properly. In short, is called as economics. So economics deals with the wealth. That is nothing but it can be an individual wealth or a national wealth. So this is what we call it as economics. So do you all understood the introduction to economics?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So economics is again a social science, okay, concerned with production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. So whenever we speak about the production, so you can now ask me, sir, how production is related to economics? So production is related, the goods and services which are produced in a country, that is again related to economics, right? The distribution of goods and services, the consumption of goods and services, it is everything related to economics, and it shows how the individuals, businesses, governments, and nations make choices about how to allocate their resources. Maybe the income, right? One of the resources is again income, and there are many other resources. We have natural resources, we have human resources. So these are the resources which are used in production of goods and services. So we have different types of resources. How do you allocate and how do you manage them for the profitability? So generally, my dear students, you all should remember today's business, the main objective of any business. Can anyone tell me what is the main objective of any business?
One profit.
One profits, correct. The main objective, the basic objective of any business is profits. So we allocate the resources, we manage the resources only for the sake of profits. If you are not generating profits, then there is no use of doing business. Again, you are under loss. Again, you need to shut down your business. So whatever we do today is only to generate profits. Economics, okay. Now you all should understand economics, from where this word has come. So it is a Greek word, it is nothing but oikonomics. Okay, this is the Greek word, the ancient Greek word oikonomics, which means managing a household. So generally, whenever we speak about managing the household, ladies are very good in managing household things. Correct? If at all, if you have seen your parents, if at all, if you have seen your mom, if at all, if you have seen your sisters, if at all, if you have seen your spouse or wives, so generally these are the people who manage their households. So economics is the Greek word which means managing household. And generally, we all should not forget the human resources. And we human beings, we are the bundle of desires. Everyone has a desire, everyone has a need, everyone has a want. So it is our duty to fulfill our needs, wants, and desires. So how do we fulfill our needs, wants, and desires? Is nothing but by purchasing the goods and services which are required to fulfill your needs. If at all, if you want to travel somewhere, what is your need? Transportation. So either you can catch a government bus, either you can go through auto rickshaw, you can go on two-wheeler, or you can even hire a cab. So these are nothing but the resources which are available to satisfy your wants. And specifically when we speak about economics, economics is also indulged in, it is also related to production of goods and services. So to produce the goods and services, we need labor, we need land, we need capital, and we need machinery. Correct? So this is how we produce the goods and services. So economics deals with all these things. Economics deals with the production of goods. Economics deals with the labor. Economics deals with the capital. So generally we speak about capital. Again, capital are many types. So when we speak about capital, you all might have heard about working capital. Have anyone heard about working capital? Anyone? Chandan, I want you to mute yourself, please. There is a lot of disturbance, Mr. Chandan. Okay, thank you. So, yes, we were discussing capital. Working capital is nothing but the capital, the amount which is required to fulfill your daily expenditures in your business. That is what we call it as working capital. And whenever we speak about capital, again, there are many different types of capitals. So capital to start the venture, capital to start the business. And we have long-term capital, we have short-term capital, and we have working capital. So economics will also help you to manage your capital. That is nothing but your working capital, which will help you to manage all your day-to-day transactions. That is what we call it as working capital. So economics also deals with the different problems. Problems related to what? Problems related to your wants, a problem related to your needs, a problem related to your companies, problems related to human beings. So these are nothing but there are different types of problems, and we have even economic problems which will help us and which will guide us to find out the best solution. And today you all might be working, or you all might be doing a business. So whenever we speak about business, or whenever we speak about job, so we come across different types of problems, and that is where our capabilities come out. So we want to try to solve those problems, and we want to come out of this problem. So generally, that's why nowadays all the companies are expecting the employees to be problem solvers, not problem creators. So they want to deal with all the different types of things. Previously, employers used to think about employers used to think about hiring the employees who are specialized in a single thing. Nowadays, they expect many things from you. You want to be an all-rounder, so you should deal with many things. So it will help you to identify the problems, and also it will help you to satisfy the problem. So this is what we call it as economics in general. You all understood the introduction to economics?
Yes, sir.
Whether you all are comfortable with my teaching, you all are understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, thank you. Fine, thank you. So here you can find out some of the definitions here. So economics is nothing but it is a controversial statement. So why do we call it as a controversial statement? Because there is nothing specific, because it deals with the many things. That's why we call it as a controversial issue. Okay, so definition of economics. Many authors have defined economics in a different ways. For someone, the economics is totally related to wealth. For some author, economic is totally related to something else. So that's why we call it as controversial issue. So economists have different viewpoints. So different economists have different viewpoints. So now we are going to study about who are those different economists and what are the different views of the economists. So some economists have a viewpoint that economic deals with problems. Some think that they are only dealing with finance. Some think that they are only dealing with the market part or the demand part, such as inflation, deflation. Some think that economics deals with also unemployment. So some people believe. So generally, when I was asking about economics, I don't know, someone said that economics is also related to money, also related to finance, also related to accounting. So economics, yes, different people think about different economics. So here you can find it on the diagram which is displayed on my screen. So there are few people who think economics from the point of wealth. There are few economists who has defined economic in the viewpoint of welfare. And there are few economists who have defined economics from the point of scarcity. And there are even some economists and authors who have defined economics from the point of growth. So that's why we call it as a controversial statement. Now you all understood why we call it as a controversial statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the wealth definition of economics. So what is this wealth economics? So why they have defined economics from the point of wealth? So this is a classical definition of economics given by Adam Smith. Adam Smith is also considered as the father of modern economics. So whenever we speak about economics, you all should remember about Adam Smith also. So what Mr. Adam Smith has defined? So he says that economics is the study of nature and causes of nations' wealth, or simply as the study of wealth. So how much the wealth a country is being produced, how they are utilizing it, that is nothing but how they are going to allocate. So now we all are aware that our finance minister, right? She now Nirmala Sitharaman is the finance minister, right? So she comes with a budget. In budget, what she does, the finance minister, she allocates the funds to the different sectors of the country, for education sector, for hospitality, for army, for navy. So they divide the funds. How do they divide the funds is again nothing but how means the amount which is being generated in the country, that is the nation's wealth. Out of this nation's wealth, they allocate these funds according to the uses, or according to the emergency, or according to its applicability. After allocating the funds, now they try to manage it. So according to Adam Smith, economics is nothing but the study of wealth. So whenever we speak about wealth, my dear students, you all should remember wealth, it can be a nation's wealth or it can be your individual wealth. So we all are earning, right? We all are doing jobs. So we earn a XYZ amount and we try to allocate it and we try to satisfy our needs and wants through the wealth, through the earnings which we have earned in a month. So that is what we call it as economics. So that's why you all should not forget what is economics. Economics is nothing but managing household things. So this is the meaning of economics, which is derived from the ancient Greek word, managing household things. So you and me, we all do the same thing. That's why economics is part of our life. So now you all cannot tell me, sir, I am studying so and so subject, or maybe I'm specialized in a different subject or in a different stream. Maybe in whatever stream you are, economics comes into each and everything. So that's why we call it as multidisciplinary subject. It deals with many things. And what are the key features of Adam Smith? The main objective of the economics is to gain maximum wealth as possible. So as we all are aware that we all are working in organization, or we all are doing jobs, or maybe you are studying, and if at all, if you are, maybe you want to do your job, you want to start your business. Our main objective is to generate profits. You need to generate maximum wealth, maximum profits. Then only we can allocate it properly, then only we can satisfy our needs and wants. It is not only satisfying our human needs and wants, even businesses have their own needs. Does anyone doing a business, anyone in the class have a business? No one? Okay, fine. Anyone working with the organization? So sometime back, I don't remember your name, sir. You were telling that you are working in production department. You're there? You're there in the class? I don't remember your name. Okay, fine. Who is working with an organization? Anyone who is working with an organization? Working for a company?
Yes, sir, myself.
Karan, yes, fine. You are working for a company. So, Karan, can you tell me what are the different problems you face in a company? Not you. From the point of company, you tell me.
From safety management to production, RRP, OP.
So, okay, you take simple example as a production. What are the different problems you face in production department?
So, by purchasing raw material, transportation, delivery, etc.
Correct. It starts right from your identification, right? You need to identify which raw material is useful. At what quantity should I purchase? Second thing. And from whom should I purchase? Because there are many vendors in the market. You should decide who is selling to you at what cost. So being a company or being a head of the department, it's your duty to find out the resources at a minimal cost. Correct, Karan?
Yes, sir, yes.
So you undergo many different kinds of problems. It is not always happening with human beings. You all should remember that even it happens with business. There are many problems. So you need to overcome all those problems. So how do you overcome all those problems? Is nothing but by generating maximum wealth. Okay. The core of economic activity are production, distribution, and consumption. So my dear students, you all should remember that we all are customers, correct? We all try to satisfy our needs and wants by purchasing some or the other goods or services. Am I correct? You all are there with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. So the main function, the economic function, how to satisfy the human needs and wants? By producing the goods and services according to their needs. Fine, the first step. The second one is again distribution. My dear students, the company should make sure that their goods and services are available in each and every corner of the market, so that the customers can purchase and they can satisfy their needs and wants. That is the second function, that is distribution. And the third one is consumption. Consumption is nothing but the usage of the products. Now you need to analyze how the consumers are consuming. So you need to analyze the consumer behavior. Why we need to analyze the consumption is again to produce the goods and services according to the demand. You all are there with me? You understood these 2 points?
Yes, sir.
Next one is it deals with the causes of creation of wealth in an economy. So how to create wealth, how to generate profits, how to identify the right steps to create the wealth in an economy. So which business you are supposed to do, or which business is generating more profits, or which business is suitable to this region, or which products and services are suitable to these customers. So generally, have you all heard about segmentation? If yes, you please say yes, or else I'll explain, no problem. Segmentation is nothing but segmenting is nothing but dividing. So we divide the market. Segmentation of market is been done. So how do we divide the market is totally based upon your geographical conditions, demographical conditions, behavioral conditions, and psychographical conditions. So based upon all these factors, we divide, we segment the market. It is not only segmenting the market, we also segment the customers. We all are aware that we all are different. All customers are different, like 5 fingers, all customers are different. Now you can ask me how they are different. They are different in the form of consumption. They are different in the form of their needs, wants. Their behavior is totally different. Their thinking is totally different. Correct? Their needs, everything is different. So you should understand the customers accordingly. So when you understand the customers, then only you can produce. And according to the production, you can distribute the goods. So now you all can see, so now you all can understand there is a link between all these things. So economics is dealing with many activities, right from production, distribution, consumption, sales. So there are many activities which are indulged in economics. So that is the point. Next one is the term wealth used in this definitions are referred to material wealth. So here, whenever we speak about wealth, what do you mean by material wealth? Does anyone have any idea? Material wealth? Those who are already working in the companies? No one? Okay, can anyone tell me what do you mean by wealth? Anyone from the students?
It may be termed as a money as well as asset.
It may be
Termed as money, or else it can be as asset like house, shops, etc.
yes. So that is the meaning of wealth. So generally, when we are speaking about material wealth, so it is nothing but again the valuable materials possessed by the company. So that is what we speak about the material wealth. So this is according to Adam Smith. This is economics according to Adam Smith. Did you all understand?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So next one is, so now you can see he is Mr. Adam Smith. Okay. The next one is the definition of economics according to Alfred Marshall is again one of the famous and renowned economists. Okay. He have seen economics from the point of welfare. So welfare definition of economics according to Alfred Marshall, it is a neoclassical definition. Neoclassical is nothing but somewhere a new definition. Neo means new. Okay, so it is the study of mankind in ordinary business of life. So it inquires how he gets his income and how he is using it. So how do we get income is again nothing but when we do a business or when we do a job, we get income. or we get profits. When we are doing business, we generate profits or wealth. When we are doing job, we generate income. And here it speaks about how the business or individual, how they are generating their income or wealth or profits, and how they are using it. For what purpose they are using? Again, for the welfare purpose. So he is trying to speak, or he is trying to explain economics from the point of welfare. It is nothing but it is a study of wealth. On another hand, it is a part of study of man. So we all are aware that today, without income or without profits, it is very difficult to fulfill our individual needs and to fulfill our organizational needs. Like human needs, even organizations have needs. Even we need to take care of this organizational needs. So if you are a business, if you are producing the goods and services, your need is again to purchase the raw materials. Your need is again to make sure that you have produced enough number of units so that you can distribute it to the market and generate profits. So we have human needs and also organizational needs. So Alfred Marshall says that economics is again a part of study of human beings or study of man. So we need to satisfy our needs and wants. Study of man or study of human beings is nothing but how do we satisfy our human needs and wants. And there are some key features of welfare economics definition defined by Alfred Marshall. So he defines economics as a study of activities related to a human being and their material welfare. So as we discussed, it is related to human beings and also related to material welfare. Is nothing but how do we satisfy our needs and wants through the different goods and services. So we all think about satisfying our goods and services by purchasing and by using the different materials, correct? So he is trying to speak about how do we satisfy our needs and wants. So whenever we are generating income, whenever we are generating profits, we think about satisfying our basic needs like food, shelter, clothing, and we also think about fulfilling our needs and desires. So that is the meaning of the first point. It is related to human beings and their material welfare. So Marshall has clarified that economics is related to incomes of individuals and it uses for creating material welfare. So that's what we were discussing from past half an hour. So creating wealth and rightly allocating or managing the wealth to satisfy our needs and wants. So my dear students, you all should understand the material welfare or the material wealth. What we are speaking is nothing but fulfilling our basic needs and wants like food, clothing, and shelter. And collectively, incomes of a group of individuals from the wealth of nation. And ultimate goal is to increase welfare of individual by their routine activities. So here they are trying to understand the income of individuals and also the income of a nation. So how? So again, that is nothing but again, we need to study the concept called the national income. We need to study the concept called per capita income, which we are going to discuss in few classes. So by next classes, we are going to discuss all these concepts. So you all should be aware of all these concepts. So this is economics according to Alfred Marshall. So Alfred Marshall is speaking or thinking from the point of welfare. You all understood what is economics according to Alfred Marshall?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So he is Mr. Alfred Marshall. So he is one of the famous author, one of the famous economists. Okay, so that was according to Alfred Marshall. Next one is the definition of economics according to Robbins. So here Mr. Robbins is defining economics from the point of scarcity. So in economics, we always deal about scarcity. So this is where the concept of scarcity has come into picture, which is defined by Mr. Robbins. So economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternate uses. So here, can anyone tell me what is the meaning of scarcity? Does anyone know the meaning of scarcity? No? No one?
Lack.
Tell me.
Lack of resources.
Lack of?
Resources.
Lack of resources, very good. So whenever we speak about scarcity, it can be the lack of resources, or it can be shortage in supply, or it can be the lack of funds, lack of income, what we can call it as. So Mr. Robbins, speaking from the point of scarcity, he is defining economics as the relationship between the ends and scarce. So now you all should understand, my dear students, our needs, our wants are unlimited, correct? Our wants are unlimited. If your income is 1 lakh rupees, you will plan according to your 1 lakh rupees income. If your plan is 10,000 rupees, you will plan according to 10,000 rupees. So your income decides, or it will determine your wants. So whenever we speak about scarcity, whenever we speak about income, whenever we speak about demands and wants, our wants are unlimited. And we feel that our income is shortage or our income is scarce. So we need more money to fulfill more wants or to fulfill our wants. That is what we call it as scarcity. So Mr. Robbins is viewing, or he is thinking from the point of scarcity, and economics will help you and understand. It will help you to understand the relationship between the ends and the scarcity. It is nothing but it will help you to understand about your wants and how to fulfill it, and what are the basic materials or the basic things what you are supposed to fulfill out of your income. Then next comes wants. So when you speak about wants, your wants are unlimited and your income is limited. So how do you manage your unlimited wants with a limited income? That is what we call it as a relationship between ends and scarce. You all understood?
Yes, sir.
So these are some key features of scarcity economics definition. So Mr. Robbins have recognized that economics is a science, deals with the behavior of human beings. So if you all remember, we have discussed when we were starting the class, I said to you that even economics is related to marketing. Economics will help you to identify the demand and supply. Economic will help you to understand the consumer behavior. So whenever we speak about consumer behavior, my dear students, you all should remember behavior means is purchase behavior, is purchase patterns. So every customer has a different purchase behavior. Every customer has a different purchase patterns, right? We all are different. We all customers are different, and we all have different needs and wants, and our purchase behavior is also different. So economics will help you in understanding the behavior of the human being. So my dear students, you all should remember, as this is not a marketing subject, that's why I'm not calling human beings. That's why I'm not using this consumer or customer word. as we are dealing with economics, so generally we speak about, we speak from the point of human beings. If it is a marketing, generally we call them as customers or consumers. So, but behavior of human being here refers to the consumer behavior only, the behavior of the customers. It also focuses on optimum utilization of scarce resources. So whenever we speak about economics, you all should remember it deals with production, it deals with consumption, it deals with distribution also. So whenever we speak about utilization, so generally we speak proper utilization of available resources. So what are the different kinds of resources? They can be human resources, they can be your natural resources, they can be your materials which are used in the production, like raw materials, semi-finished goods. So you need to properly utilize the scarce resources which are shortage, and economics will help you to deal, and economics will help you to understand how to utilize these resources, the scarce resources. And it provides three basic features of human existence, which are unlimited wants. As I said you, our wants are unlimited. Whatever we may get, हम कितना भी मिले, हम खुश नहीं होंगे, because we are human beings. Our wants are unlimited. We want more and more. So it will help you to understand the basic things. Basic features of human existence are the basic features of the human beings, that is nothing but unlimited wants, and our resources are limited. Resources matlab our income. So we need to satisfy ourselves, we need to satisfy our unlimited wants with the limited resources, and also alternative uses of limited resources. And we also think about the alternative resources which can be used. So these are the three basic things wherein Mr. Robbins have concentrated on. So here each and every concept, my dear students, if at all, if you go through the difference, the first concept was according to the Mr. Adam Smith. The second concept was according to Mr. Robbins. So that was welfare.
Sorry, sir, Alfred Marshall.
Yes, Alfred Marshall, correct. So in each and everything what we are discussing, all these dimensions, all these definitions are totally different. Each and every definition has a different thing to concentrate. So welfare, right? Next one is, again, we are discussing here about the scarcity. And there is a need for efficient use of scarce resources. And the primary objective of economics is to ensure efficiency in the use of resources with the purpose to satisfy human wants. So now, by now you all might have understood something, that economics is rotating around satisfying the needs, producing the goods, distributing, and also making use of the available resources. So this is according to the scarcity economics definition. You all understood the scarcity economics definition?
Yes, sir.
I don't know how many of them are understanding. So you can see he is Mr. Robbins. Okay. So next one is growth definition. So now Mr. Samuelson has seen economics from the point of growth. Okay. So how economics is helping us to grow? What is the role of economics? So this is being explained by Mr. Samuelson. He has been provided the growth-oriented definition of economics. So previously we have seen welfare. Previously we have seen again the scarcity. Now we are going to see the economics from the point of growth-oriented. So economics is the study of how man and society choose with or without the use of money to employ the scarce productive resources which have alternative uses to provide or to produce various commodities, various the time, and distributing them for consumption. So now I want to ask a simple question. Have you all heard about barter system? My dear students?
Yes, sir. Give and take policy.
Give and take policy. Can you elaborate it little more?
Yes, sir. In olden times, there were no currencies. So, for example, if you grow ragi or grains, I would exchange with pulses like some dals. So, whatever goods or commodity you have, it is like exchange of commodities.
Correct, you are correct. Okay. So barter system, why I'm speaking about barter system is, my dear students, you all should understand, some centuries back, there was no concept called money. Okay. But still, the trade used to take place. Trade is nothing but buying and selling of goods and services. That is the meaning of trade. So trade is existing from ancient days. It has not been started maybe some centuries back, or maybe some years back. It has been existing from ancient period. So just now, one of your friend have said that exchange of goods. So barter system is nothing but you grow wheat and I grow rice. So we both require both the goods. So what we do is we exchange the goods with another goods. That is what we call it as barter system. But as and how the civilization has been started, the concept of money has come into picture. So now you all should understand every product as an exchange rate now. Excuse me. Previously, we used to exchange with goods with goods when it was barter system. But now every product has a exchange rate. Correct? So even if at all, if you want to purchase water, you need to pay. Have you all heard about a company called Tata? None of them have heard about Tata? Fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes. One of the giants, right? It is an 150 years old company. We all believe in Tata's, right? So why I'm speaking about Tata is Tata is selling even water. I don't know how many of them have come across Tata water, right? So they are selling water. A company like Tata is selling water for 2 rupees. Tata Water Plus, water packets for 2 rupees. So the example what I'm trying to tell you is, still you need to pay for water also. And by now, because of this pandemic, you all might have understood, yes, we need to even pay for oxygen, correct?
Yes, sir.
So nothing is for free of cost, my dear students. Economics will help you to utilize the available resources and generate profits and allocate them according to their needs or according to their applicability or according to the emergency, and we need to satisfy the needs and wants of the human beings. So that is the definition of growth, which speaks about how the human beings are generating the income and how they are using this income. For what purpose? To satisfy their needs and wants. And if at all, if it is a production, or if at all, if it is a company, you need to completely focus on your scarce productive resources, so which are in shortage. So you need to utilize them properly. You need to make sure that you are generating profits out of it by properly utilizing it. So why we are speaking about the scarce productive resources is, again, these resources are used in producing various commodities, producing various goods and services which can be distributed in the market and which can be sold for the consumption purpose. So here in near future, we think about this consumption patterns. So by now you all might have understood the buying pattern of all the customers have totally changed. Earlier, we used to go to market physically. We used to purchase the goods and services. But because of the market conditions, now we don't want to go. We want to order everything. Correct? Everything is available on our fingertips. Today, companies have their own websites, their own applications. What you are supposed to do is just place an order and everything comes to your doorstep. So you might be thinking that economics is only dealing with production, consumption. No, these are the advanced versions of what we are seeing today. So Mr. Samuelson has explained economics, or he has seen economics from the point of growth. Growth in the sense of what we are seeing now. So now everything has changed. Now you all might be seeing the advertising of products, the promotion of the products are also being changed. So earlier you might have seen an advertisement of a soap. So we'll take an example of Lifebuoy, right? So what it explains, the advertisement of Lifebuoy says that yes, it kills the germs. But now in the present time, what they do, it even kills the coronavirus. Use so and so soaps, right? You all might have come across these advertisements in your televisions. Have you all come across?
Yes, sir.
So you might have seen so many detergents, so many bars. So they are again changing their strategies. So this is nothing but from the point of the growth. This is economics. So economics will tell you to identify the best resources, use them properly for the profitability. And these are some of the key features of the economics. So it deals with the allocation of scarce resources to be used in productive purposes. That is what we have discussed till now. The selection of the most efficient use of resources from the alternative ways. So you need to again select the most efficient use of the resources. So whenever we speak about use of resources, you all can use your resources in different ways, but you need to identify which is the efficient way so that you can generate more profits out of it. And the growth of economies will depend upon the consumption and the production in the economy. My dear students, you can see this word, the growth of economies. Economies is nothing but the countries. The growth of the country totally depends upon the consumption and production of production in the economy, that is within the country. So we are speaking about the gross products or the gross domestic products which are being produced, how much they have been produced and how much it has been consumed. So this will explain you about the growth of economic condition of a country. And the next one is, this definition also points towards the economics as a system of an economic system. So economics is a study of an economic system is